Most people don't wake up planning to shatter their own world, but the path to chaos is built on whispers, subtle shifts, and choices so small they barely register. Anonymous once said, "It's not the leap that destroys us, but the steps we don't see." There's a raw, unspoken reality about married women that slips past most people's notice. A truth so quiet, yet so devastating, it turns them into the easiest targets. Not because they're fragile, not because they've abandoned their values, but because the human soul is a battlefield where desire and duty wage a silent war. No one stands at the altar dreaming of betrayal. No one imagines the day they'll trade vows for fleeting thrills. And yet, it happens, not in a single dramatic plunge, but through the tiniest cracks. A glance held too long, a laugh that lingers in the air, a message that lights up her phone and sends a shiver down her spine from someone who isn't him. Decades of research into the human mind reveal a chilling pattern. Psychologists call it the gradual unraveling of limits, a slow dance of thoughts and feelings that erodes the strongest foundations, one fleeting moment at a time, until she stares into the abyss of her own reflection and wonders how she got there. So why do some married women become so vulnerable to the pull of temptation? How do they convince themselves it's not as wrong as it seems? And what drives them past the point of no return? That's the hidden truth we're about to uncover. A truth that's equal parts psychology, instinct, and the timeless lessons of Stoic wisdom. Hold tight, because this journey starts now. Number 1. The silent hunger. Why do some married women crave attention beyond their vows? The best marriages are forged in mutual devotion, a sacred alliance that thrives on trust, resilience, and shared purpose. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus once taught, happiness and freedom begin with a clear understanding of one principle. Some things are within our control, and some are not. A strong marriage should weather storms and silence temptations, but not every bond holds its fire through the years. Some women, despite the rings on their fingers and the promises they've made, find their hearts wandering toward voices outside their homes. And here's the twist most people miss. It's rarely about lust or a thirst for rebellion. It's something deeper, something primal, a hunger carved into the human spirit. Too often, we assume these women are chasing an exit from their lives, but the truth is far more subtle. They're not running away. They're searching for a piece of themselves that slipped away unnoticed. Human beings are built to crave connection, not just the kind that fills a room, but the kind that fills a soul. For women especially, emotional closeness isn't a luxury, it's oxygen. In the early days of marriage, that closeness burns bright. The late-night whispers about dreams and fears, the way his eyes catch hers across a crowded room, the electric thrill of being truly known. It's a drug. That feeling raw, alive, unshakable. But time has a way of dimming the flame. What once felt like a grand adventure shrinks into a checklist. Who's picking up the kids? What's for dinner? Did the bills get paid? The poetry of love turns into the prose of routine. And in that shift, she starts to fade, not from his sight, but from his focus. She becomes a fixture, like furniture in a familiar house, and that's where the real danger takes root. Dr. Esther Perel, a leading voice in relationship psychology, points to a silent assassin in long-term partnerships. It's not the fights that kill a marriage, but the apathy that creeps in between them. When a woman stops feeling seen, when her words no longer spark a reaction, when her presence no longer stirs his curiosity. Her mind begins to drift, almost against her will. It's not that she's plotting to leave. It's that she's starving for a taste of what she once had. A co-worker's lingering smile, a stranger's kind word at the right moment, a random chat that makes her laugh like she hasn't in years. These are sparks in a darkness she didn't even know she was lost in. Suddenly, those small exchanges feel like a lifeline, a reminder of a self she thought was buried under laundry and late-night exhaustion. The Stoics understood this well. We are most vulnerable when we lose sight of what drives us. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." But what happens when a woman's mind, craving purpose, turns outward because the strength within her marriage has faded? Stability is the bedrock of a committed life. It's the steady hand that keeps chaos at bay. But stability can become a double-edged sword. Psychologists call it the paradox of familiarity. The safer something feels, the less it excites. After years of the same mornings, the same conversations, the same predictable nights, a woman might not even realize how much she misses the rush of the unknown until the unknown finds her. A new voice, a fresh perspective, a fleeting moment of being chosen again. It's not about rejecting her husband. It's about rediscovering a version of herself she'd forgotten. Then there's the identity trap, a quiet thief few talk about. Before marriage, she was a world unto herself, a woman with ambitions, quirks, stories that made her unique. After the vows, she becomes part of a unit, a wife, a mother, a keeper of the home. These roles are noble, even beautiful, but they can also cage her spirit if they're all she's allowed to be. When every day revolves around what she does for others, she might start to wonder, who am I when I'm not serving someone else? That question is a crack in the armor, and sometimes it's a man outside her marriage who slips through. Not with grand gestures, but with a simple acknowledgement of her as an individual, a nod to her wit, a question about her dreams, a chance to feel like more than just a role. In those moments, she's not cheating yet, but she's stepping closer to the edge, because for the first time in years, she feels alive again. Number 2, the mind's deception. How do married women convince themselves the forbidden isn't wrong? The heart wants what it wants. An old saying goes, but the mind is the master weaver of excuses that make it all feel right. Seneca, the Stoic sage, warned us, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. Yet what happens when imagination becomes the shield that hides our guilt? No woman slips a ring on her finger thinking, today's the day I'll unravel everything I've promised. That's not how betrayal begins. It's not a thunderclap or a reckless leap into the abyss. It's a whisper, a slow unraveling, a game of self-deception so subtle she barely notices until the lines blur. Because guilt is a heavy chain, and the human spirit will twist itself into knots to break free of its weight. So when a married woman starts drifting toward dangerous waters, emotionally, physically, or both, it's not an instant fall. It's a quiet descent, paved with justifications she crafts in the shadows of her own mind, long before the world sees the cracks. At first, it's harmless, or so she tells herself, a friendly chat that lasts a little too long, a compliment that warms her more than it should. I'm just being nice, she thinks. What's wrong with feeling good for a moment? It's not like I'm crossing any real lines. The brain is a cunning architect of illusions. When something feels right, but clashes with what she knows is true, it builds bridges of denial to close the gap. Psychologists call this moral disengagement. The way we detach our actions from our values to dodge the sting of shame. Richard Dawkins once said, "The easiest person to deceive is the one in the mirror." And so, a woman who once held her vows like a sacred flame starts playing tricks on herself. She minimizes it. It's just a text, nothing more. She deflects. If he noticed me more, I wouldn't be here. She carves out a separate space. This isn't about my marriage, it's just for me. Each excuse is a step further. A brick in the wall she builds between guilt and desire. But here's the trap. The more she rationalizes, the deeper she sinks. For many, the first betrayal isn't a kiss or a touch. It's a quiet shift of the heart. That's what makes it so treacherous. Physical lines are stark, unmistakable. A hand on her skin, a night spent elsewhere. Those are boundaries carved in stone. But emotional intimacy, that's a fog where edges dissolve. A late-night message that feels too personal. A confession shared with someone who isn't him. A bond that grows in secret. Hidden behind, "It's just talking," she might insist. It's not cheating, it's only words. But words are the roots of connection. And when she pours her thoughts, her fears, her unguarded self into another man, she's already drifting from the one she swore to stand beside. Infidelity doesn't start with the body, an unknown voice once whispered. It starts the moment you hide a piece of your soul from the one who deserves it. That's the gray zone where the real danger festers, because once emotions take hold, the body often follows. Then comes the most seductive lie of all. I deserve this. This is the tipping point. The moment justification turns into conviction. She's no longer wrestling with right and wrong. She's rewritten the rules to fit her story. I've given everything to this marriage. Why can't I take something back? He's been distant for years. Why should I keep starving? I've stayed loyal through so much. What's the harm in a little happiness? At this stage, the voice in her head isn't whispering excuses, it's shouting entitlement. The sacrifices she's made, the nights she's felt alone, the dreams she's shelved for the sake of stability, they all pile up into a case she argues to herself in the dark. That connection with another man, the one who listens, who sees her, starts to feel less like a betrayal and more like a reward she's earned. And once she believes she's owed it, the Stoic principle of self-control, that inner fortress Marcus Aurelius urged us to build, crumbles under the weight of her own reasoning. The danger isn't just that she justifies it, it's that the justification becomes a habit. What starts as a fleeting thought, "I'll stop tomorrow," turns into a pattern she can't unweave. She tells herself she's in control, that she can walk away any time. But the heart doesn't negotiate with logic once it's hooked. Neuroscientists say emotional bonds light up the brain like a drug, a surge of dopamine that mimics addiction. Each secret exchange, each stolen moment, feeds the craving for more until just this once becomes just one more time. And with every step, the guilt fades, not because it's gone, but because she's trained herself to bury it beneath layers of self-made truth. By the time she realizes how far she's drifted, the shore of her old life is a speck on the horizon, and the woman she once was feels like a stranger. Number 3. The point of no return. When does a fleeting temptation become an unbreakable chain? We are what we repeatedly do, Aristotle declared long ago, and the Stoics echoed this truth. Habits shape us more than we shape them. Every tale of temptation has a moment where the tide turns. A line crossed, a bridge burned, a choice that can't be undone. For married women teetering on the edge, it's not the grand betrayal that seals their fate. It's the quiet shift from "I shouldn't" to I can't stop. The scariest part? Most don't even see it coming. They drift past the point of no return, blinded by the illusion that they're still in control, until one day they wake up in a life they no longer recognize. And the woman they were feels like a ghost from another time. It starts small, as all dangerous things do. The first message she sends, knowing it's a step too far. The first time she agrees to meet him, swearing it's just coffee, just friends. The first time his touch lingers, a hand on her arm, a brush of fingers. And she doesn't pull away, even though her heart screams she should. That's the crack in the dam, the moment the flood begins. Psychologists call it the escalation of commitment. The idea that once you take that first forbidden step, each one after feels less like a choice and more like momentum. The first time is the hardest. The second is a relief. By the third, it's a rhythm she can't break. What once felt unthinkable, lying to her husband, hiding a secret, starts to feel like second nature, because the mind adapts to anything if you let it run wild long enough. Here's the lie she clings to as the ground slips away. I can quit any time I want. But freedom isn't that simple. Once temptation sinks its hooks into her emotions, it's no longer a game she can walk away from. It's a craving she feeds with every glance, every word, every stolen moment. Science backs this up. Neuroscientists have traced the pathways of desire, showing how new connections, romantic, forbidden, thrilling, flood the brain with dopamine, the same rush a gambler feels at the table. That spark of something new, something alive, becomes a drug she didn't know she needed until it was in her veins. So even when she swears, this is the last time, her heart finds a reason to return, not because of him, but because of how he makes her feel, wanted, vibrant, untamed, like a version of herself she thought was lost forever. Then the lies take over, not just to him, but to herself. The first time she deletes a message, her hands tremble. The first time she crafts an alibi, I was just out with friends. Her voice shakes as the words spill out. The first time her husband asks, who's calling this late? Oh, and she brushes it off with a smile that doesn't reach her eyes. It feels like a betrayal of everything she stands for. But the human spirit is a chameleon. It bends, it shifts, it learns. Soon, the trembling stops. The excuses flow smoother. She masters the art of hiding. A locked phone, a secret smile, a story ready for every question. Guilt doesn't vanish. It just gets buried deeper. Tucked beneath a veneer of normalcy, she polishes with every passing day. She tells herself, I'll end it soon, next week, next month, when the time's right. But weeks stretch into seasons, and the longer she dances this double life, the harder it becomes to step off the stage she's built. Here's the final twist. The moment the story rewrites itself, her marriage stops being her anchor. Her husband, once the center of her world, becomes a shadow, a footnote, the other man in a life turned upside down. The real bond, the one that quickens her pulse and fills her thoughts, lives elsewhere, in stolen conversations, in glances across a room, in a connection that feels more honest than the vows she's breaking. Even if she hasn't crossed the physical line, her soul has already chosen its allegiance. The Stoics taught us to guard our inner peace, to cling to reason over passion. But when passion takes the reins, reason becomes a distant echo. And when that shift happens, the end is inevitable. Two paths stretch before her. She gets found out, the truth spilling like blood on the floor, or she walks away, unable to bear the weight of living two lives any longer. So why do some married women fall so far? Because they're not chasing betrayal. They're chasing a feeling they've lost, And once they taste it, turning back feels like surrendering the one thing that reminds them they're still alive. It's not weakness that pulls them under. It's the strength of a hunger they've convinced themselves can't be fed at home. By the time they see the chains, they're too tight to break. And the life they knew is a memory fading in the rear view. Why do some married women fall so easily? Not because they're weak, but because they're human, chasing a spark lost to time, slipping through excuses until the lines vanish. They don't plan to betray, they drift into it, hungry for what home no longer gives. Epictetus said, "You become what you give your attention to." And once temptation takes hold, turning back feels impossible. But here's the power. To see this truth is to see what others miss. The silent drift, the hidden hunger, the steps before the fall. With this, you're not blind anymore. You can guard what matters, choose reason over ruin, master yourself as the Stoics taught. So use this wisdom, spot the signs, hold the line, and never let the game claim you. This is Stoic wisdom. Until next time, stay sharp and see you soon.